There she is. Yay!
Hey,
Hey, happy Friday, guys. Let me turn it down. I always have, like, Instagram's weird. Every time you jump on live, or as soon as it goes live, the volume jumps all the way back up again, and then there's an echo.
It is weird. Okay.
Yeah, it is
I love
weird.
how saucy you are, and I'm like total like slacking in my sweats, and like I love it. I love us so much. Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, you're like all cozied up in your sweater and your hat. It looks like, and I'm in my little crop top over here, and it was 80 something degrees yesterday, you guys. So I think today's gonna be like 70 or something, but it's beautiful out right now. So yeah, I'm just soaking it up. I have my new red outfit on. Red's my color for 2022, I think.
Isn't it fun? Like we're all about just like embodying. I literally, girl, I thought of you. I had to go and run and get my tea. It's called the pot of gold tea. Pot of gold tea, which is so fun because like we're embodying just like everything we do. I love it. That's the purpose and intentional living, right? Which is so fun. I love it. So
yes,
cool.
Yes, I love it. Today, you guys can't see the title on Instagram. We're talking about the art of joyful creation. So thank you for tuning in with us live. If you're here on Instagram, say hello. If you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all the things, say hello if you're tuning in with us. We'd love to hear from you, but we're just going to dive into this topic. Were you saying something before we went live? You had some kind of topic around this, or this popped in, or no? Did I get that wrong?
Well, I was just, you know what? It's funny. I was mentioning, so it's so cool, you guys. Like we show up and we do these awesome, organic talks for a reason. Like we're all about the feminine energy. So there's so much more fun and flow and channeling that can happen when you totally trust what comes up and roll with it. And it's so interesting because I was telling Sarah I was gonna do a podcast episode and literally call it the art of joyful creation because I think people get it so wrong. I know, which is so
no. Oh my God.
Cool. It's uncanny how aligned we are, and even though I swear on my life, and even though every time we're like, oh my God, no way, and it still is happening, like it's still so magical and fun to be in flow. Yeah, be in flow, be aligned. So what I was gonna say about this is that's so fun is this. So you guys, like the art of joyful creation. We have, if you align with us, if you are in any kind of spiritual anything, we've heard of creation, like you create your own reality. You are the creators of your own reality, which is truth, right? But in that, I think Sarah had a beautiful point, and I love that you said the art of joyful creating. And we can dive into however you want to flow with this. But if you are creating from a state of lack, like you were just saying, it's so not fun. It does the opposite, and you can't get there from where you are. So it's kind of purposeless. So let me just give you an example. I'll just share my example. This is kind of like a little bit of a tangent, but we can just roll with it. I start my creations in the evening. So what I do is as I'm going to sleep, I'm thankful for my bed. I'm getting myself in a space of joyful feeling because when you sleep, your body rests. And what that does is I wake up in the next morning and we have that opportunity to create from that space. And what happens is so many people, and I used to be this until you do this work, you're creating from the problems of what happened the day before, the month before, a year before, because we don't take that power back. We don't have our control to create from a space of joy because we literally can't even be there. So I go to bed, I get myself there. This morning I woke up and I went for a walk. Why? Because I felt called, because I had gotten myself there the night before. I felt so called to go for a beautiful walk. On this walk that I love, I've really been practicing, and Sarah and I have talked about this. It sounds almost ridiculous, but you have to master the skill of it. Savoring every fucking moment, like literally being so present, so dropped in, looking at the trees, looking at the sun, breathing, smiling, listening to music, and feeling the music through your motherfucking soul, right? All the senses while we come to this earth playground. So what I'm telling you is this. I have been mastering that and having so many results because I've gotten my creation, my art of creating in line, right? My frequency, my vibration in line. So, and it's again, you can't judge little or big things because we'll talk about that in a second, but I get myself in this epic space, soaking it up, consciously being aware of everything that's happening on this walk. And I literally, it comes so quick and so powerful. This burst, this rush of just love, flew through me, really, really deep love. And I literally said out loud, I was like, oh my God, I feel so much love right now. Simultaneously in that second, I hear my phone ringing and Dustin calls And I pick up, I'm like, hey, babe, which makes sense. He's the love of my life. So, of course, I'm feeling that state of love. He calls, and he literally goes, hey, he goes, I literally wanted to call to tell you how much I love you. I got this massive feeling of love. I wanted to call and tell you. Which you can pass over, or you can be like, oh my God, it's about taking that responsibility. I did that. I joyfully created that moment. Then savoring that, what's happening to me, not stressing about shit I'm worrying about, right? I'm so engrossed. We've talked about this before. I'm so in the moment of that. It's like my vibration is expanding, right? So then I get off the phone with him, again, feeling so grateful. We had a great talk. 3 friends, 3 messages. I get to my phone after that. I get to 3 messages from 3 different people that I haven't talked to in a while. Literally just saying, hey, Vanessa, I was thinking about you. I just wanted to send you so much love right now. Like literally, guys, full body chills. And again,
I love it.
It's so fun because people can overlook this, and many people do, right? I used to before you like become conscious and do this work. Why this is important is because when you can start with these quote unquote little things, even though there is no difference in size because it's all frequency, whether this is happening or you have $1 million running through your bank account, it's all the same. It's about that vibration. So when we can be in a space and consciously like acknowledge, consciously, joyfully create from that vibration, there's no limit with what can come and all the things you talk about, being a magnet for everything else that you were worrying about, everything else you wanted to create in your business. You get to be a magnet for those clients, those soulmate clients. You get to be a magnet for everything else. So I'm so sorry, I want to hear your thoughts, but it's so fun to talk about this topic and have people understand, well, one, it's about taking responsibility, self-responsibility. When you look around your life, everything around your life you created, and own that. It's beautiful. You have great things you love. I did that. You have crappy things you love. I did that too. And not judging yourself, but just the awareness and turning that around to getting yourself to be a joyful creator. Because like Sarah said, you cannot create from lack. It just doesn't work. So how can we turn around and be a joyful creator where not only is the whole process so effing fun, but on your way to everything else, it's like you're uncapped. I love that word, that feeling of uncapped in everything, because you are a joyful creator. It's the art. And what is art? It's magical, it's colorful, it's flowing, it's fun. It's the art, a dance of joyful creation, because you are the creator and everything is creating through you. Wow.
I love you.
I love you too. I'm like on today. I feel hot. This is just tea. It's
No, I know. So do I. I'm like, oh my God, I just love today. I love Friday. I love our live streams. I love Wednesdays live. I mean, it's just so fun. It's just so fun. You touched on so many good points. This is really about coming into alignment with the beingness. And then there's still doingness, but there's beingness comes first, you guys. Beingness comes first, because as Vanessa illustrated, she created those moments. If she was walking around in a lack mindset or, lack consciousness, she would have created a totally different experience. So think about what you're creating when it comes to your business. If you're creating, a program, are you coming from a place of a lack mindset? Are you coming from a place of shortage? Are you coming from lack consciousness as you're creating? Because what tends to happen if you're doing that is that the mind will seek out some way to go out and try to fix it and do something. And then you start overcompensating with the doingness to try to close that gap from that feeling of void or lack. And what happens is you create something from that frequency, and the results that you get from that creation are going to be totally different than the frequency of the creation when you are in full alignment and beingness first and foremost, and creating from this joyful place. So, I mean, really being able to drop in at first and foremost, if you find yourself in this state where you're creating from any kind of lack consciousness, recognize that even if you go out and do create something and you get a quote unquote win, it will feel good in the short moment. You'll get a little shot of dopamine, like, woohoo, I just landed a client or a sale or something like that. And the gap is still there, though. The gap is still there. The lack, you can become a billionaire and still have this problem, still living in a mental prison, trying to fill the void, trying to fill the gap, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to find that sense of fulfillment. And so the external world, the quote unquote successes and the accolades that you happen to rack up in the external world will never fill this void. We'll never be able to fill this void. When you create joyfully, you're creating from this place of presence, like Vanessa was alluding to. Presence always, always comes first. Not even coming from a place of trying to achieve the outcome, the desire. So we're here in this human experience trying to balance the desire to be a creator and be part of this co-creation with the divine, which is what part of this experience is all about. However, allowing it to be ego-driven versus soul-sourced is the key. Because when you are soul-sourced and you're going inward first, then you're not even quote unquote creating for the desired outcome. Yeah, you have intentions and those desires are still there, but you're creating for the pure love and joy and fun of creating. And then everything else happens as a byproduct of that popping into your experience with the least amount of effort and the most amount of fun and joy and flow and freedom. We can do it both ways. You can achieve. I heard a quote, or I read a quote the other day, and it's just so true. I think it was yesterday, and it resonated, and it ties in here. You go deeper to rise higher.
You go deeper to rise higher. Can I point one thing that you said that was so fun? Did you guys hear what she said? Of course you heard, because you're like listening. But that was so fun. That was so fun. She goes, you get to create from the divine source, and it's more fun. It's more in flow. Like, take that in. Like we work with business owners, right? It's like, what is more fun to you? Do you want to have this journey where it kind of like, it's increments of the better it gets, it's in this flow? Or do you want, like she said, you have these fluxes of like, oh my God, I just made $16,000. Then I'm dry for 2 months. And then, oh my God. So the purpose, I love that you said that, girl. It is more fun. Everything should be fun and in flow, and especially in this new world that we're entering. So I want you guys to take that in. Like, that was so key, Sarah, and helping people, especially in a business sense, understand you get to choose. You are the creator. Do you want to continue to effort and be in this crazy emotional flux and flow? Or do you want to decide that you're in this amazing like art of creation along the way? So when you're doing those emails and the 3D things we have to do, you can vibrationally be in a better space, and you're not creating from lack or efforting, which is halting and blocking off the calls that are about to come in. You're in this expanded flow, this joyful creation, where you open up yourself to attract all the other things you want. That makes sense. That was just
that's so good. And the other thing that you touched on when you first, Vanessa, was that you get to experience the joy of it along the way. I think it's such a good metaphor that you're always on this path when you're taking it too, where you have, you know what I mean?
I so am. Like, it's like, damn, so much has been dropping in on this freaking path. I know.
I need to come visit and like take a walk on this, this magical path like where you're at. No, I'm just kidding. You get to create this wherever you're at, you guys. But the point is like when you're in this joyful state of creation, you're not hinging all of your joy on the desired outcome anymore. The desired outcome is a byproduct that comes and gets to play with you and pop in this 3D experience, but you're not hinging anything on it. You get to experience the joy of the journey, which is the whole effing point to begin with. And when you can get to that place where the desires are not your top priority, they're just they're fueling this like inner sense of like immersion with your soul to go deeper, just to see how fun and flow and how much fun you can have with this process, and allow the divine to create through you, because you are creating from this centered place of God self energy within you. Go ahead.
And you know what? I'm like resonant. Can we stretch it too? Do you know why that's fun? I love what Sarah just said too, and why we've been practicing. We teach, like, you guys, if you're focusing on the outcome, right, instead of enjoying the process, I also like, let's stretch this. What if your desired outcome, that like, let's say you sit and in your human mind, you visualize the most coolest, outcome that you could ever think of in your human mind. And because you're focused on that, and that controlling it has to be this way, you're not enjoying the process. What if like your actual divine right outcome was 10 times what you're thinking, or 10 times what you're imagining? But because we're not focused on our play, focused on doing our calling along the way, we're so focused on the outcome, and that's what's making us happy. Like that, it hinders your potential, Because when we expand and let divine create you, like what if am I making sense of what I'm saying? Like what if your potential was so much greater, your outcome was so much just beyond than what you can visualize, but because you're so focused on that outcome and you're not in your space of creating from joy, it like cuts it off, it hinders it. That's cool. That's fun to think about. That's a really cool thing that I've been thinking about like recently too. Like have divine, divine design, like divine path, divine, like, because the divine, what that means, guys, your side note is it's the highest, most beneficial, like the highest, greatest, highest, I can't say high enough, highest way. That's cool.
This is a good point, and maybe we can chat about this, because you often hear people say you have to believe it in order to manifest it. And I can say that I've manifested plenty of things that blow my mind. So how much do you actually even have to believe in what it is that you're manifesting?
Ooh.
It is so much better than what your mind can conceptually conceive when you're willing to drop the control and allow that in. So for people to say, oh, you have to believe it in order to achieve it, you have to believe it in order to manifest it, that's not actually really 100% true. You can actually manifest beyond your wildest dreams, beyond what your mind can fathom. Your mind is not the ultimate barometer of what is possible for you. And I think what they're alluding to is maybe some of the subconscious programming behind it that allows you to know that you're available for all of it. Like that's obviously key, by tapping into your true source, yourself of who you are. If you come from unlimited, infinite abundance, then how could you not create that unlimited, infinite abundance in your experience? You come from that. That's your source. Yes. And so the mind is not your barometer of what you're able to create. But oftentimes when you're not creating from that soulful source, that God self energy within, that infinite abundance that pulses through your veins, that animates this physical 3D human body, then you are stuck creating from the limitations of the mind, what the mind perceives to be possible, rational, logical, what makes sense, or what's familiar, or what seems. And that's not true, because we've experienced, you may have experienced, I've experienced it, I see a lot of other people experience quantum leaps where things just blow your effing mind beyond your wildest dreams. And you know, if you go look at a lot of people, like even like Oprah, I heard her talking about this once, this has manifested beyond what she ever thought was possible, what she ever believed to be possible. This has blown her effing mind. She could not fathom what it was going to be like in her mind when she was in her process and in her flow and in her creating, right? And so when you think about that, of course, like there's one, your soul already knows the most expansive, the most fun, the most freeing, the most, the only word that's coming up is expansive journey for you, the one that's most fulfilling, and not the one that's not going to challenge you, the one that's going to give you the most growth, soul ascension, growth, and everything on that path. Your mind has no ability to conceive it that way. And this is why it's so imperative, if you're to drop in and create from presence and create from soul, versus allowing your ego or your overcompensation with action to try to dictate what you do next and how you create and what you create.
We got to let go of that how. We've heard everyone's talking about that, but it really is key. And even right now in this moment, like you have the rest of the afternoon, or whenever you're watching this, you have the rest of the evening, the afternoon, to decide, like, how do you want to shift? What do you want to create in your life, in your business from this moment forward? We just cleared stuff. That's hella cool. You get to choose that, you know, which is fun. And even just being in our energy right now, like it shifted your energy, raised it up. Great. Use that, leverage that, and then take that and ripple effect into your life, into your business. That's what's fun. That's like the dance that we're all doing, which is cool. When we surrender and get out of ego and play, like dance with fucking divine. I'm so in this space of just like dancing with divine. And it was cool. Like this would be another talk. Oh God, this would be another chat. But I had something happen this morning where I'm in this high flying space and something came up where I could have let that, the triggers or whatever, get me down, get me emotionally insecure, emotionally down in myself. And it was so fun because I've mastered this. We teach this, we master this, get a hold of your emotions and become the awareness of it, where it shifted everything. And to be honest, like it ended up being the most beautiful dance that like moved me to my core. And if I would have sat in that ego-driven, fear-based, self-sabotage, whatever, it would have changed the day. It would have changed this talk. And my point is, like, it's challenging me it's challenging for me to express like what I went through. I did like a little video of it, so go watch. But it's cool because how I'm feeling now is everything. And what this is doing in this moment, it's like everything I've blocked for our business, for everything else, is now like the channels are opening up. That's like the work. That's the fun. And it's all for you, through you, with you. But you're the creator. Like, we can't say that enough. But I want people to really understand what that means. Because I think people go around like, oh, I'm the creator, you're the creator. It's so, so fun and powerful. And it just, things can happen in your life, in your business, that just surprise and delight the fuck out of you when we create from that art of joyful creation. And to me, again, like, I think joy is the highest frequency. I think joy is the highest level of anything. I think I'm going to go as far to say is like joy is source, is God. So when you create from that highest space, which is unlimitedness, like soak that up. Like that is fun.
There's one other thing that's popping up too. That I almost lost it. Okay. Well, maybe we'll end on this. I don't know. See if Vanessa has any feedback on this. This is so key for spiritual entrepreneurs, especially, I'm going to say this, heart-centered creators. Because even when you come with the most heart-centered, intentions, if you're creating from ego versus your soul, it is always going to be more self-serve. It's more self-serving. And what you're putting out. So this is where it gets really sneaky, right? Because if you're a spiritual entrepreneur looking to create things to make a massive impact and come from the most heart-centered place, but yet you're allowing yourself to create from the ego versus creating from the sense of beingness first and foremost, the byproduct of what you're creating is not in soul alignment, and it is not in alignment with what the divine wishes to channel through you. And it is going to be a self-centered creation versus one that is in the highest level of impact and mutual benefit for the highest good of all involved. There's a huge difference there.
The highest good for all involved. And just real quickly, we can close on this. Guys, giving you personal examples. Last year, Sarah and I came from like a whole rebranding. Like, Divine Femme is a divine intervention, divine impact. And we can't even express how, yes, massive action behind the scenes, but even that is in such more alignment and flow. And it's so much easier. It just fucking works. Like, don't you want that? That it feels better. It's more fun. And in turn, we are impacting in different ways together than we ever thought we could, because we aligned up with that. And so it's not just for us, it's the people that we are impacting. Does that make sense? Like, that's key.
So yeah, like, if you let that sink in, it's mutually beneficial for all involved when you show up and create from your soul sourced energy, which is true creation versus ego manipulation, false senses of security. Instead of creating from false senses of securities, lack consciousness, ego manipulation, greed, or any kind of other self-serving motive, because you're using your clients or your business or your money that you're receiving or any of the accolades to sort of prop you up for some form of external form of validation. None of that exists when you're creating from source. None of that exists when you're creating from soul. You're just creating for the pure joy of creation, because you're allowing the divine to pump through you what it wishes to pump through you. And guess what? It just happens to be the most magnetic thing to the people that you're here to serve. So it is of mutual benefit for the highest good of all involved, including you, which is a good thing. Including you get to receive all the things, but you're coming from the inside out. So I can't even stress this enough, because it's such a core element, of Vanessa and I's teachings inside Divine Femme. Whether you join us in our Scottsdale immersion on the end of April, our luxury soul business expansion immersion happening in Scottsdale, you can DM us if you want information on that. Or whether you join us inside Sacred Leader Academy, which is our business academy, because you're really ready to create from soul the most epic, magical shit ever that is a magnetic match to the souls you're here to serve. Or whether you decide to just dive in and get your feet wet with us inside our first virtual immersion that is happening on March 22nd. This is such a core component of everything that we teach, because it is so, so key in being able to birth into the world what your soul is here to create. And at the you know, I feel like everybody, you know, if you're attracted to us, like this is ultimately what you're here to do, what you're being called to do. So if this resonates with you, please just follow your intuition and just reach out. Like that's all you have to do. Just take the next step.
I love that. It really is that simple.
So simple, guys. It's so simple, so fun, so free, and it gets to be that way if you allow it to be that way. And
is anything else coming up for you, my girl? I feel so dropped in. Anyone else like listening? Thank you so much, guys, that have joined. It's a really beautiful Friday. This was a really powerful conversation, but more importantly, like there's so much happening in the world, and things I feel like are getting quicker and quicker. So to take this time, because really like what we have is time, right? Even though it's an illusion, like we value our time to sit here and just be dropped in together and dance with you guys watching, whether it's on the replay or now. It's magical. And in this, everything just shifted, whether you know it or not. And that's a cool thing to recognize. So again, take our energy, take this and leverage that in your life, in your business. I don't know why I keep on feeling called to say that, but it's really powerful.
I'm gonna counter that last statement just because I already know what you're alluding to, but I'm gonna say that time is the most, it's such a paradox, but time is probably the most worthless thing that you need to focus on, because you actually are not guaranteed another day. You have now. That's all you have is now. Time is an illusion. You don't have time. You may not even be here tomorrow. Sorry to say, that's just reality. So what are you going to do with now? What decisions can you make now? What actions can you take now? How can you be so present now that you don't wake up 30 years from now trying to grow your business or trying to create something and realize that you just fucking missed the entire show. You just missed the entire show because you were so much in future desires manifesting or worried about the past coming in and fucking it up. So how present can you be? Because this is all you have right now.
Oh girl, this gets me lit, because there's so many people out there, like they're getting so excited for 2022 and like all these plans in advance, except they're putting everything out there. When I'm almost like I'm done with the goals, like right now in this moment, what is the highest impact we can do in this moment for my life, for our business, to impact, to fully be my fullest expression? Like what can you do now? Like I love that so fucking much, girl. It's so key, because when you add up all these little nows, you do get to the end and you're like, holy shit, I did more than I ever thought I could, because I wasn't putting everything out there. I was dropped in present now. And the nows add up to be your amazing journey. Like, so it's a fine balance. I love, and this is a fine balance of, yes, have your goals, your desires, but kind of also not too, like, don't get too ahead where it's so far out there. And then you can let things like procrastination come in and self-sabotage. Like now, do something now. I love
it. So good. So good.
Oh, girl. This was good. I'm just like staring. This was fun. Thank you for this time. Thank you, everyone. Like you were all part of this with us, and this is fun. That this is like our work. It's just so
couldn't get any better. It's so fun, and we're getting ready to hop. You guys, there's so many cool things that we're like. I wish I could there's so many cool things happening behind the scenes for Divine Femme that we're going to trickle out. But yeah, after this, Vanessa and I get to jump on our Friday call and allow that to flow through us and see what happens. Like when you can just release the control and allow creation to come through you instead of you trying to manufacture it, magic happens beyond what your mind can conceive. So you don't even have to believe it. You just have to release the fucking grip on the steering wheel and finally turn it over to source and be like, all right, universe, God, source, angels, guides, all that is, whoever you're referring to, show me. Show me.
Yes.
Which is exactly what
we're doing in yes. I'm going to say, which is exactly what we're doing in our virtual immersion. So what is your next step? anyone that resonated with this, anyone that feels any kind of slight inkling, you don't even have to go beyond to ask why, but you follow that, and then we get to dance together. So your next step is to go and DM myself or Sarah. If you're watching on YouTube or on the podcast, check the show notes below. There should be a link, and I want you to hit register for Like She Owns the Place. This is going to be a very dropped-in virtual immersion. It's going to be very, very organic, raw, channeled teachings. You'll leave with some epic stuff to utilize in your business, more importantly, in your essence, in your oneness frequency. That will be so, so fun. And it's going to be a magical dance. So go to register now, Like She Owns a Place. We are so excited to co-create with you. And again, one thing someone could say, you'll know, like, that's why I was called to be there. So follow that call, and the rest we get to surrender and literally have the universe show us how magical and how great it can be for everyone involved, which includes you if you feel it. So happy to see you there, guys. Really, really fun. Beautiful. All right. I love you, girl.
Love you guys. Namaste. Happy weekend.
Bye, guys.